There are so many anime that don't quite reach the greatness of their manga, or something shitty gets in the way of a complete adaptation. Whatever the case, as great as manga is, sometimes you really want an appropriate and complete companion to go with it, but you don't always get one. Recently, the remakes/reboots of Full Metal Alchemist and Hunter x Hunter have given me enough hope to make a list that might catch someone's attention, and maybe give other people ideas, which would eventually lead to the shows being given a second chance. But I know that's unrealistic. Either way, here I am, and the first series I want to talk about is Claymore. Claymore is a pretty good series, even if it does suffer from a serious case of same-face. Honestly, that's one of the best reasons to give an anime another try. In animation, it's easier to tell the characters apart because they're represented by more than just a static drawing on a page. It's much easier to tell where they are in a scene and what they're doing, as well as what they sound like in their body language. Those are things this series could really use, even though I personally enjoy the manga form as well. When they tried to make a Claymore anime, the manga had not been finished and the anime industry hadn't really explored the season structure yet, so it was stuck with the dreaded anime-only ending, essentially trapping it in its own universe and making it impossible to continue as the same story. There is at least one other series on this list that shared the same fate, but I'll talk about it later on because I want to pay a little more attention to it. In any case, the Claymore anime has its own story and production, looks and sounds great, and should not be overlooked. I just wish there was a full story there. The next series I wanted to talk about was Toriko. The Toriko anime ended kind of recently actually, and at nearly 150 episodes, it would be hard to convince a studio to try it again. But I wish they would, even if it takes a couple of years, because I watched the whole thing, and I could definitely see potential in it. That probably sounds like a weird thing to say after watching 150 episodes of a series, but it's a kind of show that's built to last, and that mentality is one of the biggest reasons I'd like to see it given another try. The show's pacing is very slow. I'm not sure if that's because of how the manga was written, but either way, if they were to come back to it in maybe 5 years, tighten it up, make the story move along at a faster rate, cut out the filler, speed up the little food hunt arcs, improve the animation and not censor it, I'd love to see what came of it. I think it's still being written though, so it would need to be in seasons, unless they want to start over a third time. The third and fourth ones may be kind of obvious, but you may not have considered them because, just like Toriko, they've only recently ended, and both lasted quite a while. But if they did remake them, they'd definitely get a profit. I'm talking about Naruto and Bleach. Of course, again, I'm not asking for the remakes right away, or even within the next couple of years, but considering how badly these shows were handled when they were airing, they definitely deserve a more manga-accurate adaptation sometime in the future. I don't think there are many shows out there with a higher percentage of filler, and especially in shows like these, where things take several episodes to develop, a huge filler arc out of nowhere really slams on the brakes. It really is a shame, because most of the time shows like these are made pretty well otherwise. The music and animation in these shows in particular are pretty perfect for what they are, and if they changed for a reboot, it would change the mood of the show dramatically. There's only one other show I can think to add to this list, considering the amount of anime I've seen. I've seen a bunch of other shows that could use another season, or read a bunch of manga that desperately needs an adaptation, but that's not what this list is about. Those lists can come later, and if things go well, they probably will. Until then, the last show that belongs on this list is Gash Bell. It's known in the US as Zatch Bell, and you might know it as that show you saw a little bit of on Cartoon Network 10 years ago, which looked like it was about fighting puppets. It's one of the most underrated series that I can think of, and I want to introduce it to as many people as possible. Even though the lines on Zatch's face make him look like a puppet, he's really a demon, and the show is about 100 demons being sent to Earth with 100 spellbooks that can only be used by specific humans. When they find the person capable of reading the spells in their book, they use the magic to destroy the other demons' books, until there is only one left. The last demon left becomes the king of the demons. This show starts out kind of slowly because of the nature of the story. There are 100 demons thrown into the world at once, so it seems like a monster of the week type of thing until it naturally starts developing longer arcs when the only demons left are the strongest ones. Until that point though, the comedy is more than strong enough to keep you around. Anime humor usually doesn't make me laugh at all, but this show made me laugh out loud quite a few times. The characters have quirks, but they're not just the same few anime tropes picked out of a hat. Even when they represent a trope, they are elevated above it. Unfortunately, due to the fragility of long-running anime, something had to go wrong toward the end. I can't find any reason why, but the show was cut short in the middle of one of the later arcs, and finished with an anime-only ending. Not only that, but the voice actress of the main character wasn't around, so things felt completely wrong. I was able to finish the series by reading the manga, but even though it's licensed in the US, the manga is censored, and they didn't even finish publishing it, so I had to read a fan translation. What happened to Gash Bell is one of the biggest letdowns in shonen anime, in my opinion. If I could, I'd fund a remake all by myself. I was even considering buying the Japanese re-release DVDs, but they're over $400. In any case, that's the end of the list. If I find more, there might be a second part, but I'd have to watch a ton of anime for that. If you found this list interesting, and you agree or disagree with any of my picks, or if you have any suggestions for more entries, please let me know in the comments. If you want to see more anime discussion and reviews, you can subscribe. Thank you for watching.